what is the biggest thing that's keeping you stuck? Why do you feel discontent despite achieving what you thought you needed? Something's missing. You've tried other solutions, but nothing has truly fixed your problem, up until now. Download the 3 reasons you're feeling discontent and how to fix it fast at www.jedbrotherson.com and quickly create a clear roadmap that helps you find peace, clarity, and fulfillment. Welcome to the Pulverizing the Patterns podcast, where Jed Brotherson takes you on a journey to confront the roots of your discontent and emerge significant. Each week, we dive deep into themes like overcoming harmful family dynamics, standing up for yourself with courage, speaking out against injustice, and cultivating healthy, authentic relationships. Be sure you visit our website at www.pulverizingthepatterns.com. While you're there, subscribe to us via your favorite network. Now, get ready for empowering stories, expert insights, and actionable strategies that help you break free from negative patterns and create a life rooted in self-respect, clarity, and connection.
So I originally found Coral when I was researching most effective therapy modalities to pulverize the patterns that we don't want in our lives anymore, laying out the new patterns to create our best life. And discussing the work that Coral does with Cognomovement, I realized that I stumbled onto just such a system. It's backed by science. It eliminates fear around any of the fear that we have approaching healing, and delivers results for men who don't want to, and women who don't want to dredge up unwanted emotions, because none of us do. We don't like being uncomfortable with it. And sometimes we're feeling stuck. Is the therapy worth it? Is it going to give us the results that we want? My summation of these fears is that it's not really a fear of therapy. It's a fear of sitting in these uncomfortable emotions. And so I've looked for ways to, how do we minimize the time that we have to spend in these uncomfortable emotions? Because we to do the work, we've got to get in them, but how do we get real results without being in them for extended periods of time? And Coral's work does that. She delivers results where anybody can finally feel free from and comfortable in their own bodies, rather than feeling like they have to be anxious and moving around all the time. And so I thought, I've got to get Coral on this podcast and help people find liberation. Coral, will you remind me the credentials that you have with Cognomovement and what you do, for what you can provide for people?
Yes. And first, beautifully said, Jeff, beautifully said, because it is like, how do we face these things, but it doesn't become 2 weeks, or doesn't become, it can be literally a charged thing can be 90 seconds. It can be 5 minutes versus having it follow us around for days. So that was beautifully said and succinct. So credentials, yes. So I have a bachelor's of psychology from Cal State San Bernardino. I have a integrative for nutrition health coach certification. I have a somatic activated healing certification. And what we are talking about here today, though, is Cognomovement. I'm a level 2 Cognomovement practitioner. I work worldwide via Zoom and in person in Utah. I have been a practitioner since 2019. I am a mentor to the new people coming in through the training, so I'm a mentor as well. And I am a person who has done the work. So I walk the talk, and for the last 5 years, on top of being a professional on this, I do the subconscious pattern work on myself on a regular basis, daily actually. So yeah, those are my credentials.
Well, as we've talked before about several things, and I'll just tell everybody that my first interview that I did with Coral, I thought it was amazing, and Coral helped me process a little. It was an issue with the way that I was reading some of your intro. Actually, I stumbled my way through it, and because of a lack of, it was actually a fear of being judged on the podcast. Like, once the thing airs, who's going to hear it? What's somebody going to say it? So it helped we were able to process something where my brain was reading like a robot, where my other conscious brain's over here working in a different place, which makes it just doesn't sound like I'm a present human being. And we did that very quickly. And then I botched the recording. So Coral's been gracious enough to come back and help us here again. And we I identified an issue with a fear coming from familial patterns, main one with my mom, and I found that I brought that into my marriage. And is there a way that we can, like, if we could identify something like that, a pattern that we're dragging around with us in our life, how can Cognomovement help us get rid of a pattern like that?
Yeah. Well, one, like you had said earlier, but not in the before we got live, just actually acknowledging it is the first, being aware is the first level of being able to change. And then the willingness is the second step. But how Cognomovement assists, and we'll do a little exercise with it to see what happens, just how you feel, and see if it changes, and if you would like to, if you're willing.
Let's do it.
Yeah. So how it works is Cognomovement is a simple system, basically, that is profound because it allows the brain hemispheres to become harmonized. It allows the nervous system to harmonize, and it allows information to be relearned in the moment, that the body is safe and the body is open to whatever pattern that is running. It's open to letting it to be either released, integrated, or accepted in whatever way that is actually the truth. And the truth is known. The truth isn't me saying, oh, you should go to do this because of that familial pattern. No, your subconscious, your true self already knows the truth. And all we're doing with this work to help break patterns and blocks is to bring you to that. And once the awareness of the felt truth is felt and sensed and known, it stays. It doesn't go anywhere. And you don't reloop that pattern any longer because you already got it. So why rehash? Why bring up the things? And so let's focus on this familial thing that you discovered. If you would like, you said yes. So,
wow.
Yeah. So what we're going to do is we're going to map over. So it doesn't mean that you don't have more work to do, but we're going to map over with the feelings involved and see what one side of the brain that is holding the pattern thinks about it. And then we're going to see what the other side thinks about it and see if we can map it over to become harmonized with the information. And so then the body can do what it needs, integrate, release, and accept, or however that is. So this familial pattern that you have, that you realize is potentially running subconsciously, but it's showing up in your marriage.
Right.
If you think about that specific pattern, whatever it is, we're just going to feel the feeling. We're not going to talk about what it is. And that's the beauty of this work, is you don't have to talk about it. It's the feeling, it's the emotion or the sensation that shows up when you think about it. So Jed, when you think of it, what is there a sensation that shows up in your body or some sort of emotion?
Yeah, so I'd say from belly button to diaphragm. If I really force myself to think about it, it's not a true stomach ache, but like tenses. Not a muscle tenses, it changes.
Okay, so there's a tenseness from the belly button to the diaphragm. And on a scale of 1 to 10, 1, it's kind of a little tense. I notice it. And 10, like it's locked down. It's really tight.
If I was standing next to a person, I would leave the presence of the person, thinking it was them causing it.
Okay.
So it's like an 8, like enough that I would leave their presence, to thinking that might be a solution. Like I might sense it as a negative vibe or something, right?
Okay, very well. So it's pretty intense. Okay, so all I need to hear from you is, I found this familial pattern and I think I carried it into my marriage. And I just want to see where your eyes go, because the eyes show us the place in the body or the location that we can, if we can get the eyes to smooth out or move it over to the other side of the brain, then the perspective can switch. So just tell me, I have this familial pattern, whatever, but you're not looking at the screen. You're just letting your eyes go where they go.
He's probably sensing this, like breathing this emotion that causes it.
When you think of, the feelings in the body, which we can do work with specifically, but we're going to just see if your eyes go somewhere as well, which will correlate to the feeling in the body. And then when we map it over, that feeling will change. And so will the perspective.
Okay, so and I say I've identified this familial pattern uh that I fear I've brought into my marriage.
Okay, gotcha. So your eyes dart right up to the left upper corner, and that they stayed there. So what I need from you is we're going to direct the eyes, right? So if you'll bring your left pointer finger and bring it up to the left corner above the eyebrow, eyes looking up, and look at that finger. Straighten your head just a little. You want to keep the head straight so the eyes are really up. They might be a little straining, but looking up to that area. Okay. Now feel the feeling in the from the belly button to the diaphragm. Is it still there, that tension? Still there. Okay. So now let's see what the other side of the brain feels when you move this across the midline of your body. So take your fingers and drag them across this familial pattern. You're dragging it across this side of your brain to the other, and touch it, your right pointer finger with this information. Okay. Now bring that left hand down. When you feel this on the right, this tension in the abdomen area, even if it's switched, or you think of this familial pattern, is it different on this side of the brain than it was on the left?
Okay, so what's really weird to me is the sensation I had left, like I don't know, kind of I felt it changed, like it changed as it was moving into the right side of the chest. Even
Okay, so it evened out and went away. The body basically absorbed it, right? Or it diluted. And okay, so now look your eyes up to that right point. So above the eyebrow, looking up. Okay, think of this familial pattern. Just think of it. And does it bring the tension back? Or does it feel, no? Or does it feel neutral?
don't have what.
It's different.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that I realized makes me uncomfortable to just think about, basically, but I don't have the it doesn't create an emotion in my body to think about it. It kind of, the memory of sadness might be what I still have associated with it, but it's
Okay, so
I don't have the anxiousness or whatever that was.
okay, so it's a layer. So the anxiousness is now we went from anxiousness, but there's a layer of sadness. Would you like to see what the layer of sadness will do if we move it from the one side to the other? Or do you want to stop here?
No.
Okay, so that layer of sadness, because it's a recognition, again, bring your fingers back up to that same place on the left. Look up to the left and keep your head straight. And then just let that layer of sadness be here. And you might have some emotion, but again, it won't last a long time if it does. It's just real, it's human.
Yeah.
And so just notice the layer of sadness that might be here. And then see if you can move that across to the right side, just like you did the first time. And touch the fingers. And when you bring it to that side of the brain, what does the feeling of sadness do? Does it increase? Does it stay the same? Or does it change or decrease?
When it's harder for me to identify, but I want to still say that it follows that dissipate pattern.
Okay.
It's just feeling it in different areas, like that one. For some reason, I thought I was feeling it here, but then right as I was about to touch my hands, I felt it was weird, something in the back of my head. Anyway, but then when it all balanced, then there's no sensation. Just feel normal, feel calm all the way through.
Okay. That's what we do. It's what you did it. so when you think of
that simple, that easy.
Well, it is.
I mean, not a complex thing, but it's like if we could do those over and over every time we need it.
Yeah, it's letting the brain see it from a different perspective. Now, each nervous system does respond differently. So just know, like, we might compare and be like, well, he cleared it in 30 seconds. And that is possible. And it does happen. And that is how your nervous system clears, because you feel. You are really letting them, you're not tense about it. You're like, okay, I'll feel it. And your body's able to move it on through. And so there's no judgment if someone takes a longer time to process, but it can be that fast and that simple. Because it's a charge. And when the charge leaves, because it has a new perspective from the other side of the brain, then the body doesn't need to protect or hold on to it. It's free now.
You know, as you're talking about the protection aspects, I think I'm putting together that I've been in such a protected mode for so long to protect my emotions and myself that, like, as I've learned to trust the therapy and like to trust you, as we talked to you, I've talked to you a couple times, and just know that your heart's in the right place and you're doing the work of the world to heal us all. And I can feel it and sense it. And as I open up my empathy to that and just allow myself to feel, so I don't want to say that I think maybe more empathetic people are can process faster. My question might be, once we get on the path of recognition and awareness, maybe empathetic people heal faster. And
Yes, if you recognize, absolutely.
once we recognize the pattern.
Yeah, and there's caveats to everything, because sometimes, empathetic, yeah, we can take on other people's stuff that more so we can actually be overwhelmed by it. And you can also, you're in the balance. You're finding the balance of being empathetic and also letting it move through you instead of holding on, if that makes sense.
It does, because I think I'm coming out of the taking on too much area. And as I've learned to set some boundaries, learn some of these things along the way, I think that's helping me as I talk to people like you to be able to have that process faster for me.
Yeah. And the more so any emotions or any feelings that we stuff down because we're so used to don't feel, suck it up, that sort of thing, is running in our subconscious. The nervous system, our electrical grid that is either in alignment where we can have mental acuity and focus and move through the world in confidence, or it's fragmented and like firing all over the place and we are in anxiety or other things. Those feelings or emotions, when they are processed, it does bring the nervous system into alignment. And the person, when you have a release like this or an integration, however you want to term it, for a while, you stay in this beautiful space. And then life comes in again, because life is life. And then and so it's like, I look at it like brushing your teeth. Like, why wouldn't we work on our nervous systems becoming aligned? Why wouldn't we want our brains balanced where we have a full perspective? And it is challenging to face these emotions, yet it doesn't have to be fearful, because they don't last long. Just like you were like really fast. And sometimes it does last a little longer, but it's really not. It's actually very courageous to be able to feel.
Right. And I'm thankful for all the people that, like podcasters and whoever, that help us understand that fear about the emotions, because it feels like I was taught for so long, don't feel, don't feel, don't feel. I mean, like the movie Frozen, right? Like, conceal it, don't feel it. And speaking of movies, a lot of my progress actually comes with my kids. Like, I'm a dad. I have a 17-year-old, almost 18, and then I have three younger ones, 8, 5, and 2. And as we're watching movies like Elemental has lessons too, but Inside Out, where sadness is always in joy's way, and joy's trait always make sadness happy. But like in the end, the lesson is you can't get to the happy tier on the other side of the sadness, until you blend the two, like feel both of them at the same time. And that concept was foreign to me, really, until I could start seeing this in my kids as we start blending those emotions. That's where the power comes from. And then I meet people like you that help us embody it. And then it gives me hope that I can not just learn it for myself, but that I can help other people around me.
Oh, and your children, any work we do, our children directly benefit. Father, mother, whoever, they benefit, because when we are in alignment or balanced or harmony, or however you want to say it, and you've blended beautifully happy and sad, and you are not afraid of it, you're allowed to express as humans express, they can too. They can too. And they are safe. They feel this safety in themselves, or this concept of safeness, because they don't have to hide. Think about it. If we're hiding emotions, we're hiding from the world. And we're all hiding emotions because we've been that's what we do. Got to keep moving forward. And we do. But to be able to give that gift to our children, is beyond, because then they carry it forward and forward and forward into the world, and the world will change. The world changes with us. It starts with us and just carries forward to all aspects of anybody in contact with us and beyond.
Well, yeah, you said that beautifully.
Thank you.
If I don't know if it's time for this or not yet, but it's what's on my mind, so I'm just going to say it. But you do so much of this work, and you are so like into helping people that you've offered to give listeners a free 30-minute call. Uh, and while we did a couple things that are kind of maybe, I don't want to say specific, but that's just what was in the air today. Like, what are some many things that that people, because I know that you can help people. Like, we don't want to tell people we can cure anything, but with so many different things that can just give them hope every day. And these things are easy to do. What kind? What's your
Yeah. So a specific niche I do not have. I am one of those people who literally will work with anything. And with this subconscious work, or this aligning your nervous system, it can be worked around weight, people's weight and cravings and mental acuity, high performance. So business, finances, relationships. It's all around the stress of these things, even diagnoses, but it's the stress around those. And when your body comes into harmony, it can start to heal itself. And so any topic literally is not off limits. What I love working with are family systems. I love working with even people going through divorce, or how can we make it amicable through, working on the person themselves, and then the other people respond differently to them because they're no longer coming at a charged way. And working with children and working with parents really is a joy to me, because I know, man, if I had these tools when I was a kid, man, if my parents would have done this, and it does start with the parents, and it does start, but any person can work on themselves, no matter child or parent, and results will happen. And, but there is no topic off that I wouldn't be willing to work with. And there's so many that I've worked with hundreds and hundreds of people. I've been doing this for a little bit.
The other exercise we did was, I mean, not that it was fast and I'm trying to get more things, but is there something that can help all of us a little? If I say the biggest things that I think trouble people are these emotions, these patterns, and still in the pattern line, it's the finances, as you mentioned, helping with business and performance. Is there something quick and easy that could help people reduce just stress or anxiety about finances? I don't know if you've noticed a common thread that comes up with people about.
Oh yeah. Oh my goodness. Well, if you really want to dive right in, it's always, okay, this sounds a little out there, but I'll bring it back into where it's just, finances. But
I like that.
Finances are good enough. And what that means is, so if we're not good enough, we're always seeking more. And if we feel that wholeness in ourselves, the resources we have in finances, we use and look at them differently. And so that's the big overarching picture of finances. But a tip that can calm people with, like, say, oh, my bills are due tomorrow and I have this anxiety and that sort of thing, would ultimately, it is to bring you into the body. And it is, I would say, okay, where do you feel that tension? So maybe it's my jaw gets really tight because I'm like, oh, I have this due, or this happened, I have an unexpected expense, or someone's going to take my money, or, there's so many things that come up around. And literally everyone, finance is the number one thing, I would say, beyond our own relationships, that is causing anxiety and stress. And so if you were to touch that area of your body, say it's your neck.
What if I gave you a specific example?
Sure.
I can say this one just happened recently. So like, while I'll get clients as coaches and whatever, like I still have times where this happened. Today's Tuesday, so this was 7 days ago. I had 2 clients booked calls, and then those 2 clients didn't show up. And so this happened on the same day, and kind of right in a row. And and I had things with my kids that it's just like, man, it just would have been nice to just have that all work out like the
Yes.
universe
Yes.
does, and have everything be so smooth. And then it didn't happen, and then I got in the funk, and I'm like, man, it'd just be nice to me, just bang, 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 like to
Yeah, I
help
think
so many more people.
slow. Let it rain. Let it rain.
And I try to just get in that sense of like, I'm helping more people, I'm helping more people, and so more help is coming this way. But I still got caught in that funk. And while not everybody's a life coach and not everybody has the same problem, like we all have those instances of something we put our energy into, we get excited about, and it doesn't happen, and then we get into this. Not everybody, but a lot of people get in this funk, like I just described. Is there? How can people, once they recognize they're in the funk like that, okay, how can we identify what just happened and where we need to be and connect those two again to get us out of that quickly? Is that
Yeah, well, it all goes to the feelings. It all goes, what does a funk feel like? So I felt downtrodden, like maybe your shoulders were heavy. So it is really truly based in how we feel. We create thoughts based on how we feel. So if your shoulders are tight and tense, you're going to create thoughts that create more scarcity. Now, I get it. An incident happened that created, you know what I mean? Like that is almost like rejection, right? So the rejection came and it would be a feeling in your body. So that feeling would have been in the body. And then that feeling of that rejection created more of a slump because it kept generating charged thoughts around rejection. And so then life just wasn't so rosy that day or however many days it lasted. Then you probably did something that started to uplift you and your body comes into a new state of being. Nervous system's more in a changed state, so it's not in that slump. So you start to dig your way out of it, and it's this repeating cycle that you just keep getting into and over and over and over again. So, so the feelings of that first coaching person who said no, if you could trace it to that no, feel where that no resonates in your body, and we could do the mapping thing that we just did. There's many techniques in Cognomovement. This is just one very simple one that works for you very well, but not everyone responds the same way. But you find that feeling in your body, and when you can release that feeling in your body, there will be some sort of shift in you. So either
so this fear was they didn't actually tell me no, because I think I handle those pretty good, because it's like a conversation with a person, and I'm not trying to protect my expectation on what they tell me and their outcome. It's when they don't show up and I'm artificially creating this.
so they don't show up.
Yeah, so
Yes.
it's like just a no show on the call, and then I magically like, oh no.
Yeah. So they don't show up for you. So yeah. Well, again, I mean, the same thing. It's what does not showing up for you feel like in your body? Not being shown up for. What does that feel like in your body?
Having you say it that way actually brings back so many thoughts and different experiences. Not showing up for.
Yeah. Yeah. There's an origin and it's a charged feeling or emotion in your body. And it could be, you know, you don't have to say what it is, but it could be you were at elementary school and you were supposed to be picked up at 2 p.m. and they didn't show up for you till 3. And there that little child is waiting. And it could be something simple like that, or it could be literally repetitive over and over and someone didn't show up for you. But you are replaying that pattern so you would find it so you can work on it or never work on it because it's your choice. But it's just mirroring to you in that from these coaching.
When you say that, help me identify. Now what do we do with it?
It's a feeling, so let's move it. Okay, we'll do the same thing. I mean, we just did it. All right. So tell me, Jed, if again, you're not looking straight at the screen, you're just going to let your eyes go. Tell me, I had 2 coaching calls and they were no shows, or however your words of them not showing up. So just tell me that and I'll see where your eyes go.
So I had 2 coaching calls and they just didn't show up on it.
Yeah, it's the same area almost, but you're more up front instead of you were hard left with the first thing we worked through. This one, you're more front up. So if you'll bring we're going to do the same thing.
Okay.
So, okay, but first though, before we do the hand, the words, they didn't show up. What sensation or feeling or emotion do you feel in your body? They didn't show up.
It's kind of,
Is it an empty feeling? Is it a
the first part of it is just a let down. I'm trying to find.
right? And you went into a slump, right? So a letdown is a slump, right? So feel that feeling of a letdown in your body. Bring your fingers up to that. It's kind of more forward, not to the extreme left. Yeah, I would say a little more to the midline, just a little bit, right? Yeah. But does the feeling feel stronger with the fingers up here?
Yeah.
Okay. So, yep. So allow yourself to feel it. You're going to do the same thing. You're just going to cross that midline with your fingers and touch your opposite fingers and see what the body on this side feels like. It might even increase. So just notice. And then bring that left hand down. What does it feel like now? The letdown.
I have difficulty describing what happens in my body when my fingers touch. That is like it's not man, it's not like a goosebump feeling like you get when you watch a Hallmark movie or something. It's like it's nothing like that, but that tension that I was feeling over here, it just goes away. Like it's not replaced with a good. It just goes away, and then I feel
Right. It becomes neutral because whatever way your nervous system works is magic because it is like fast. Like I don't work this fast, but you're neutralizing it. So by moving it to the other side of your brain, the other side of your brain is like, just so what, Okay, it just happens. Like that's that. Or whatever thoughts, I don't know you, but and then the feeling gets neutralized.
You're on the dot with me. Like we're speaking on the same wavelength.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you do the work too, so you understand. So, and your body does too. And there is a level of trust with this work. And because we've met before and that sort of thing, like you said, if your nervous system can feel that it's okay to relax and let things go through, then it will do it in this way. But sometimes there's so much protection, like I said earlier, or just the walled off or resistance that it takes a while to get there. But if somebody's willing and they know if I just keep going, they'll get to these places where they just release and they have so much freedom in their life. It's the most beautiful thing to have these freedoms, to not have them run us, where we have a choice.
Man, you're doing amazing work, and I can't wait to get this podcast episode out to everybody. We've got 4 minutes left. I just want to give the time to you. Is there anything that I haven't mentioned about you and what you provide that people need to know, and anything that you would share, personal or not, or whatever?
Okay. Thank you, Jed. And yes, it is my greatest joy to bring this work to the world because where I started and where I'm at now are completely night and day. Like I had sciatica, sleepless nights, or insomnia. I was very edgy. So if somebody were to come up to me, they touched me on my shoulder, I'd jump, or I was so just overwhelmed all the time, snappy and all of this stuff. And slowly, it took me a while uncovering each of these things in myself, all of those symptoms. I sleep well. I don't have sciatica. I don't have all these things. I have other things. I'm human. But they all melted away. They just melted away. And it was from doing this work. And because of that, my relationship with my children, my relationship with my peers, my friends, my family there's no words to put to it that can really describe the depth of connection I have that I never had, that I wanted, but didn't know how to get it. Thought I was living it, thought I was doing the right things, but it was never going to get there unless these patterns were broken. So for me to be able to bring this in this way and work with individuals and groups worldwide, anywhere, is my greatest joy. And anyone who would like to just have a 30-minute discovery call, you just go to my website, coralbuchanan.com, and it'll be in the notes, and schedule that with me. And we'll just figure out, like, it's a conversation. It's a conversation. And we go from there. So anything else, just that. Just thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for, I mean, what you've done for me today. That I was just thinking about it. I was like, you know, one thing, I just feel the stuff go away, you know, but when we did the two, like, and it could just be the sense of getting this message out too, that it's creating almost this euphoria. It's like, man, there's hope that these patterns can end, and next time, if it does recur, I can repeat the thing, and man, there's just hope for pulverizing.
Absolutely pulverizing them. And you will never look at them the same. So if anything comes up in a tendril or a residue of it, you have a new perspective. You will be you will look at it differently, and you will be processing. So once we do this, you will be processing still, like you did last time. So you still have things, and it brings up other things, you know, but in a beautiful way. And so our bodies bring up what it's time to bring up. And so if we're willing, it's there.
Coral, I thank you so much for joining us today. I really am so thankful for you giving your most valuable asset, your time.
Thank you so much, Jay. Yeah, a true pleasure. Thank you. And thank you for bringing this to the world in a bigger way.
Thank you for tuning into the Pulverizing the Patterns podcast, where Jed Brotherson takes you on a journey to confront the roots of your discontent and emerge significant. Remember to visit our website at www.pulverizingthepatterns.com and enjoy even more great episodes like this one. Again, while you're here, subscribe to us via your favorite network. We look forward to seeing you next time on the Pulverizing the Patterns podcast.